Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle something from your math textbook that might seem a little tricky at first: quadratic equations. But what if I told you they could help us build a cocoa court or even design a box? Yep, let's dive right in and see how.
But first, let's get one thing straight. Maths sirf numbers nahi hai. It's a powerful tool to solve real-life problems. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So let's start with a real-world situation. Imagine your school wants to build a brand new cocoa court. They've got this rectangular plot of land, but they also need to leave some space all around the court for everyone to sit and cheer for their teams.
Okay, this slide breaks down everything we know. The court itself, it's 29 meters long and 16 meters wide. The total area of the land is 558 square meters. And here's the important part. The space for spectators has the same width all around the court. Since we don't know that width, let's just call it X meters. You'll see that this little X is the key to solving our entire problem.
So how does this X change the total size of the plot? Well, think about it. The total length is the court's length, which is 29 meters, plus that X amount of space on the left and X on the right. So that's 29 plus 2X. And it's the same for the breadth. It's the court's 16 meters, plus X at the top and X at the bottom. So 16 plus 2X. Makes sense, right? And we all know the super basic formula for the area of a rectangle, don't we? It's just length times breadth. So for our entire plot, the area is simply 29 plus 2X multiplied by 16 plus 2X. This is the expression that represents the area of our whole plot.
And now for the really cool part. We're going to take all this information from a real-life problem and build a proper mathematical equation out of it. Honestly, this is the most important skill you can learn.
Let's expand those brackets together, nice and slow, step by step, so we don't make any mistakes. First up, 29 times 16, that gives us 464. Then we do 29 times 2x, which is 58x. Next, it's 2x times 16, which is 32x. And finally, 2x times 2x gives us 4x squared. See, not so bad if you take your time.
All right, now let's just put all those pieces together. We've got one x squared term, which is 4x squared. We have two x terms, 58x and 32x. Let's just add those up, and we get 90x, and then we have our plain number, 464. So the whole thing simplifies to 4x squared plus 90x plus 464.
But hang on a second. We already know what the area is. The problem told us right at the beginning that it's 558 square meters. So we can set our big expression equal to that number. And just like that, we have an actual equation. 4x squared plus 90x plus 464 equals 558.
Now, to make things look neat and tidy, we want one side of the equation to be 0. So let's subtract 558 from both sides. That gives us 4x squared plus 90x minus 94 equals 0. Wait, do you notice something? 4, 90, 94, they're all even numbers. So we can divide the entire equation by 2 to make it simpler. And what we get is our final beautiful equation, 2x squared plus 45x minus 47 equals 0. And that, my friends, ye ek quadratic equation ban gaya.
So what exactly is this thing we just created? Well, a quadratic equation is basically any equation that you can write in this standard form. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now, the most important rule here is that a, the number in front of the x squared, can't be 0. Kyunki agar a 0 ho gaya, then the x squared term just disappears. And, well, it's not a quadratic equation anymore. Okay, let's run through one more quick example just to make sure this idea really sticks. This time, we're making an open top box from a square sheet of metal. So, here's the deal. We start with a square sheet, and its side is x centimeters long. Then, we snip out a little 9 centimeter square from each of the 4 corners. When we fold up the sides, that 9 centimeter cut becomes the height of our box. And the length? Well, it was x, but we took 9 centimeters from both sides, so it's x minus 18. Same for the breadth.
We know that the volume of a box is just length times breadth times height, and the problem tells us the volume is 144. So that's 9 times x minus 18 times x minus 18 equals 144. And if you go through the steps to expand and simplify this, guess what you get? Yep, another quadratic equation, x squared minus 36x plus 308 equals 0. See how these things keep popping up everywhere? Okay, so we've seen how to build these equations from word problems. Now let's get down to the real question. Why is this so important for your exams, and how can you make sure you nail it every single time?
This next part is all about turning what you know into actual marks on your paper. So listen up.
First things first, let's talk about the common traps people fall into. The number one reason students lose marks here is because of simple, silly errors. Things like messing up the bracket expansion, making a sign mistake, plus ko minus kar diya, or trying to save time by skipping steps, which almost always leads to a mistake. You have to avoid these. So, here's how you do it right. Number 1, always write down your starting equation clearly. Number 2, show your expansion step by step, just like we did earlier. Don't try to be a hero and do it all in your head. And number 3, and this is so important, always simplify your final answer into that standard ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 form. It shows the examiner you know exactly what you're doing.
All right, as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with the single most important idea from our entire discussion today. And here it is. Equation banana, half the problem solved, kardete. I'm serious. If you can read a complicated word problem and correctly turn it into a mathematical equation, you have already won half the battle. The rest is just simple calculation. This skill, the skill of forming the equation, is your foundation. Agar ye samajh aa gaya, I promise you quadratic equations will become easy. Master this first step and the whole chapter will just click into place. Thanks for tuning in.